How much house does $1 million actually buy you? Well, we set out to find out exactly how much, and we're starting off with the hottest place to live in DFW, Frisco, Texas.
And while Frisco is super hot, there are actually most of our clients elect to move to the suburbs where you still get a ton of amenities, a ton of house with safe schools, community, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna show you what that looks like.
And for you penny pinchers out there, we're gonna show you exactly where you can buy the absolute most house for your dollar, and you're just gonna have to stick around to find out where that is.
Let's go. Today we're going to be kicking it off in Frisco Fields. This is one of the most popular neighborhoods in all of Frisco, and actually we're going to do a little throwback here to a model home that we walked. It's actually on the market right now. You can buy this thing for right around $1 million, but let's go check it out.
This builder is something that I like to talk about for a very unusual reason that I'll tell you about here in a second while we talk about property taxes. But let's go check this thing out and see if you guys can't figure out what it is I like about them. So coming in through this nice arched doorway, I'm a huge fan of this builder, and honestly this floor plan, the way it's set up, it was almost a must for a couple of our buyers, and I'll tell you why in a second when we get to the kitchen. But while we're here, the office setup is also very smart too, because that last office you saw, as nice as it was, this one I do really like it because it almost makes it feel like you're equals over here on either side as opposed to looking at this daunting individual. So it can be a lot more homey if you're bringing people over to have like a side-by-side desk they can just walk into. That's the way I have mine set up, so I'm a big fan of it. You do get a full-size bathroom over here, or technically 3/4 bath. It doesn't have a bathtub, but it does have a nice frameless shower, frameless glass shower. You get a coat closet here, a bedroom with an ensuite bathroom over here as well, and then oh, that's the master. Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow, okay. See, it is still a full bedroom with an ensuite bathroom, but it's also the master bedroom. Yeah, I just wasn't as right as I could have been. See, I wasn't paying attention whenever we walked through here about an hour ago to scope this place out, but yeah, you see vaulted ceilings, decorative beams. Looks really nice. Now this is honestly pretty cozy, and it's different to have the master at the front of the house. Some people like it, some people don't, so it kind of goes one way or the other. But you get floating vanity over here on your left, frameless shower glass here on your right, nice rain head in the shower, and I'm a big fan of the standing tub. Plenty of sunlight coming in there. You might just want to get a frosted mirror in case you just like the neighbors seeing all your giblets. But here, we're about to walk into the living room here, and I'll show you what it is that I thought was so smart about this, because as soon as we walk in here, ceilings shoot up to like 20-something feet. You see the banister from the loft that we'll get to in a minute. You get a nice decorative fireplace, painted brick all the way up. Brings the eyes just kind of this direction, which is great because you have transom windows up here that you may not be able to see. Lets in a ton of natural lighting that most people don't even appreciate until they don't have something like that. Breakfast nooks over here, but you got the kitchen set up here, and it's a lovely kitchen. You get the waterfall on the sides of the island, the apron here with the sink, and I love the brass accents and everything through here. But the thing that really stands out about this, and the thing that you may not recognize until you're actually living in a house like this, is whenever you have a kitchen that's set up across from your living room. And I didn't realize I did this until one of my clients had pointed it out, but whenever I'm doing dishes, it's kind of mind-numbing. It doesn't really engage the brain or anything like that, as lovely as this kitchen setup is, but I'll put my phone up on the little windowsill that I have, and I'll watch YouTube or a podcast or something while I'm working to keep me occupied. She told me that she needed a house where the living room was facing, or the kitchen was facing the living room, so that way she could watch TV while she was doing the dishes. And I thought, that is genius. How have I never thought of that before? And just like that, we've got a kitchen set up, a lovely one too. It faces the TV, so you can be over here working and, you know, distracting yourself from maybe a heat source you shouldn't be while working in the kitchen. Anyway, I think it's a really smart setup. You do have your garage access through your laundry room over there. It's a nice little setup with shelving over the top of the washer dryer. But upstairs, you get plenty of extra square footage. So as we come up the stairs, this one's got tons of square footage upstairs for guests, kids, whatever. And we'll talk about what's on that side in a second. But right now, we've got a bedroom over here with no ensuite bathroom. That one's just a bedroom. But this one over here is right across from a full bath. So if kids are up here, they'll be sharing that bathroom. The thing that I think stands out the most about this builder is the build quality. I have what I call the banister test, or the handrail test, where I go into a builder's model home and I give the banister a good shake. And that kind of gives me an idea of like how much effort they put into their craftsmanship, the materials, things like that. This builder right here, honestly, like nothing moves. Like everything's very solid. It's well put together. Like sure, it's not the flashiest build ever, but like if you want quality, like quality materials, quality builds, hands down, one of the best, easily. And on top of that, they come out with these crazy, like, big loft areas where you can fit an oversized solid wood, even quality material in their staging furniture, ping pong table, really nice setup there. And all of this actually flows into your theater setup over here. This is kind of like an open flex space. They have it set up like a theater, really nice touch. Now, one thing that I want to point out, because you don't see this in a lot of builders' houses, is the staging furniture, and that's going to be really relevant because of the next house we're going to show you. But I know you guys want to hear about those property taxes because it's pricey over here. If you're dropping $1 million plus on a house, you don't want to pay 3% in property taxes. That'd be absolutely insane. Luckily for you guys, Frisco has some of the lowest in the Metroplex. Isn't this a lovely backyard? I'm just kidding. We are going to talk about property taxes. So Frisco actually has some. They range between 1.6 to 1.7, depending on what neighborhood you land in. And if you know anything about the DFW area, that is really low. Fort Worth is like 2.43 right now, so significantly less. And whenever you're buying $1 million house, that can be a lot off of your monthly payment. So it's really drawn a lot of people here. Frisco makes it very business friendly and very, consumer friendly as well. But we're actually here in the backyard. You get a bit of a covered patio, and well, I mean, honestly, that's the backyard whenever you buy on a 40-foot lot, which kind of sucks, but you're in this phenomenal neighborhood which has these crazy amenities. So you saw that amenity center back there, right down the street from where we are right now. It's got sports courts, it's got a convention, like a little meeting center area that you can rent out, as well as a pool and like a sunning area. So it's a really nice setup. So you don't really need to worry too much about how small your backyard is. You send the kids over there, they're gonna have a grand time. Speaking of grand times, this whole house that you're gonna see next just kind of blew me away. That staging furniture I pointed out earlier, that's normally there just for decoration. These guys are actually offering a almost unheard of opportunity to buy the house with all the furniture they put in it, and my God, did they put some beautiful stuff in there. You're gonna wanna see this. I already know what you guys are thinking. That's not a lot of house for $1 million. And when the average new build costs about $950,000, why is Frisco even a buzzword to this day when it comes to the place to move in Texas? Well, I mean, they've got a lot going for them. There's obviously good schools and safety, but much like the dot-com boom in the early 2000s when Silicon Valley was the place where everyone was flocking, right now, Frisco is an economic monster, an absolute giant in multiple different industries. I mean, obviously, they've got good houses, they've got great communities with amazing amenities, don't get me wrong, but the real reason people are moving to Frisco and paying through the nose to do so is because of the amount of business going on there. It's not just how nice the city is and all the things to do, but the industries themselves are growing at an absolute cyclic rate. You've got things like the PGA headquarters being built out there, D1 facilities, and the Star, where the Dallas Stars is actually located. Cowboys. I'm sorry, Dallas Cowboys. That's a very confusing term. I'm not a sports person. Either way, you've got that on top of the new Universal Studios going in, and all the different talks of these people relocating headquarters to this area means that there's a ton of money and business to be had, and the networking opportunities are just, honestly, you can't even compete with them. So that's what Frisco is kind of aiming to be, and it means that you got to pay top dollar to get in it, which, while a lot of people end up moving to the DFW area because of Frisco, they usually end up moving to a sister city where they can get a couple $100,000 worth of value injected into their house without having to actually be in the thick of it all. And that's why we're going to show you guys where you can get a little bit more bang for your buck while not having to compromise on any of the facets of what you're looking for in a new home.
We're in Walsh. This is a master plan community in one of the suburbs of Dallas-Fort Worth. It's in Aledo, Texas. Absolutely fantastic schools, a ton of activities here. We're going to talk about the average price point here, but right now we're going to take you inside this house that's listed just over $1 million, show you what you get. And show you what you get. It's locked.
Oh.
All right, so we made it inside. Yeah, auto locking door. So first feature of $1 million house. The thing about this is I'm gonna walk you through this house. I'm gonna show it to you. There are certain things I would expect in $1 million house that's missing here. So as we go through, I'm gonna share those things with you. Just to give you an idea of what to expect, what not to expect. And at the end of this, we talk about, hey, is this really $1 million house or not? You guys can tell me. But first off, we've got our office right here, 4 walls and a door, basically, nothing over the top. And then right across the hallway here, we're gonna have our first bedroom. And so this is a really good sized bedroom. It's probably 14 by 11 if I had to guess. And it's got its own ensuite bathroom here. Now, I mentioned earlier, we're gonna be talking about stuff that is, I would expect in $1 million house. This is the opposite of what I would expect. First off, builder grade carpet as we walk in. And then also, you have a very basic tile here. You have no shower niche. You have just a corner bracket here. Your tile does not go to the ceiling. And you also have like this acrylic type sink here, right? So this is something that I would expect to see in a $400,000 house, not $1 million house. No shade to the builder here. This is one of those things that if you do come out here to buy, a lot of times if you're gonna be paying this kind of money, that's why you need guys like us to say, hey, look, we got a client, they're interested, but you guys are gonna have to upgrade some things before they close on it. We're gonna have to do something a little bit different. So right through here is gonna be our 2-car garage. There was a 1-car on the other side, and our bench here. Laundry room's through there. We'll get to that here in just a minute. But this is gonna open up into our living room and kitchen area. So we'll start with the kitchen here. Beautiful spiral staircase going up here, right? So exactly what you would want to see, a statement piece in $1 million house. Now the kitchen, absolutely beautiful, right? They have done a lot of things I really like in this kitchen. Now this has definitely got the modern farmhouse feel to it. These lights I think are really nice. The countertops here, I've never seen this granite before. To have these veins with like the brown, the gold, and also the gray allows you to do a lot of things, like using the gold fixtures, the gold or copper inserts into these. But there's a couple of things I would expect that I don't see in this kitchen. Number one is our appliances. This is stuff that you can get off the shelf at Home Depot. I would expect Monogram, maybe GE Profile or Cafe appliances in a house that costs this much money here in this area. So that is one thing. Another thing is the pantry here. Okay, now this is where I'm gonna be a little bit of a snob. These are basic builder grade shelves. I would expect a nicer finish on my shelves. One thing I do really like, solid core doors. Now that is something I think is a must if you're spending $1 million on a house. One other thing I think a lot of people don't think about, because this is a huge island, it looks great. Problem is, I wear a size 12 shoe, and so that's probably only about 8 inches. And the problem here is, think about if you're trying to sit here and eat, I'm gonna be so far away from my plate, you know, if I don't wanna hit my knees and feet on the cabinet here. So that's one of the things, if you're a taller person, I guess if you're short, maybe not a big deal, but for me, I would hate this every day that I sat here and ate. So something to think about. These are the things that I think if you're buying in this price range, you should definitely be cognizant of. Obviously, that's one of those things that if you ask us why we're showing you houses, we'll give you our feedback. And it's one of those things as well where a lot of times people buying in this price range, it's not their first house, right? So these are the things that are important to them. Now, you do have 2 sliding glass doors that go to the backyard. Absolutely beautiful view. We'll get to that here in a second. Okay, it's the gimbal. Try to help Jack out. The gimbal's not working real well. Beautiful fireplace here. Now, again, this is the farmhouse look, right? So it's very simple. There's not a whole lot going on this wall. So with the farmhouse look, it really leaves it up to you to make it that statement, right? Whether you have some, you know, giant painting over the top of it, but usually I would expect the fireplace to be this real statement piece, maybe something that goes all the way up, maybe some giant tiles, maybe, I don't know, some huge woodwork. We've got, and guys, just to give you an example, we'll show you an example of a pantry with the finish out that I'm talking about. I know I mentioned that earlier. We'll show you an example of that. I'll also show you an example of what a fireplace I would expect in $1 million house would look like. And not only that, but the next house that we're gonna show you has a lot of these features that I'm talking about. So definitely stick around for that. Making our way over here, this is gonna take us into the master. We've got a half bath, no complaints there. One thing I do like, pocket door, so that's nice to have. And then this brings us into our master. And one of the things that both, Jack said it out loud, I was thinking it, but this room is a pretty good size, but they have 12-foot ceilings here, which is great, but it makes the room feel small. It's one of those odd things where it's like you're almost better off with 10-foot ceilings. But I think if you do your interior decorating correctly, this could be a really big asset for you. Now this is really cool. I left the door open, but this is a huge master bathroom, right? You have so much space here. And of course you got your double vanity. It's gonna be near impossible for Jack to stay out of all of this, but you've got a tub here. This is another thing. Like if you're gonna actually use your tub, is it big enough? This one's pretty small. And the other thing too, this is a big pet peeve of mine. Okay, there's a couple things in this bathroom. One, you have white grout. Good luck keeping that clean. Number two, in the shower, they've done a lot of things right. I love that they have 2 different faucets. They have 2 different shower heads. Even though these are tiny, I'm sure they do a great job. There's no shower niche. So all you have are these 2 little corner shelves where I've been married long enough to know that's not even enough space for all of her stuff. So my stuff is gonna be going on the floor. So I think why they would not put a shower niche here is beyond me. I think that is like I feel like it's a must, but they did take the tile all the way to the ceiling. They've done frameless glass here, all that stuff that I would want to see in a house like this. Now, one other thing, this is cool, could have been cooler. So this is a little extra cabinet countertop space here. I feel like this is where you throw your wallet, your keys, all that kind of stuff, but I feel like this should have been a coffee bar. Like if they had just put a couple outlets in, great coffee bar in the morning. You just come here, grab your cup of coffee while you get the shower started. But I don't know, sorry, I didn't mention it. We do have a closet over here. Sorry, Jack. So his closet, nothing too big, but guys, really all we need. And again, if you're buying this house, I would have them come in here and do more with the shelving. You get 1 shelf, 1 rack, not enough. So I would have them do a little bit more there. And then this brings us into our other closet. And one of the things I really like, which is not here either, is like a full-length mirror somewhere in one of your closets or the bathroom. So when you're getting ready, it just makes it easier. It's something I would expect in a $1 million house. You could easily do it in this closet. You could probably put it right here and have them change up the shelves a little bit. But that's one thing to think about, especially if you're gonna build. It's nice they have these built-ins here. And now that brings us into the laundry room. So the laundry room, really good space, a lot of cabinets. This is so many, I don't even know what you would put in this many cabinets. So nailed it on this one for sure. Countertops, they're okay, right? This is level 1 countertop. Quartz, it's yeah. Feel like I'm dogging on this house a lot. It's a nice house. And here's the other thing. The first house we showed you, I think, is like 2,400 square feet. This one's 4,400 square feet, right? So even though the finish outs here probably don't look all that much more spectacular than the first one, you are getting a ton more space, almost 2,000 square feet more. And then one thing to notice, we make our way upstairs, you actually do have real wood here on the staircase. So that's something that I would expect. Even though our floors are engineered hardwood, this all does flow really good together. But let's go upstairs, check it out. All right, so as we come up the stairs here, we have our landing, which again, I like carpet up here. I think it's a good idea, but I would expect a higher grade carpet at this price point. You have a trade ceiling, so it's always nice to have a little bit of that architectural difference. And then here's like your movie area, right? So they've got it wired for surround sound, which is awesome. It looks like they've got an outlet up top, so if you want to drop a projector in, you could totally do that. So good space up here, and then we're gonna have a few more bedrooms over this way. One of the things that's a little bit unique about this house, bedroom here, we'll get back to that, is this area right here. So if you have kids, I feel like this kind of went away back in the 90s or early 2000s, but you do have a desk set up here, so it's always nice. Maybe the kids get home. You can actually see them if you're in the kitchen, making sure that they're actually doing their homework. So that's kind of a cool feature of this house. And then over here you have a bathroom. Again, similar to the one downstairs, nothing over the top on it. Kind of a little bit disappointing in my opinion. But here you have a decent sized bedroom, walk-in closet, and the one earlier is gonna be very similar. Jack just ran into the wall for those of you that weren't able to see that, but here's our other bedroom. And again, decent size. It's got its own bathroom as well, which is nice. And again, you probably could not tell, if I didn't tell you which bathroom I was in, you wouldn't know. They all look the exact same. So that to me is kind of interesting. And the other thing that I didn't mention, just having a builder grade mirror in that bathroom, like you want to put in your own finishing touches. A framed mirror is going to do so much for that space. But speaking of space, let's check out the backyard. All right, so I've talked a lot of shit about this house, but it's listed at over $1 million. So is it worth it? I don't know. Jack's going to talk about that here in a second and why this location does command more money. And also, if you do want to move to this area or an area like this anywhere in the Metroplex, because a lot of times they're going to be very similar, but what does that actually look like in terms of the average price point to get into, you know, a family size 2,600 square foot house? But out here we've got this patio, giant patio. Did a great job here. I love that they have a column. A lot of times you'll see these big spans. I like having columns here because if you wanted to put in those roller shades here to really close this off and prevent those giant spiders from getting in, this would be a great way to do it. And you're not gonna have to do a whole lot of modification to get those in. Now, well, one of the things, I guess two things I will mention that I think they missed the mark on here. Again, you have a very basic ceiling here. So a lot of times on a $1 million house, I would expect like a tongue and groove ceiling or something with a little bit more flair to it. And by the way, this builder has all of that flair. We have showed their model home. If you want to build something out here, you can definitely add all of these things in. So don't think that it's like, oh, this is just what they have. No, there's a lot of really cool stuff out here. But yeah, so that, and then also the lights that they use here. So this is one of those things a lot of people don't think about. Interior lights, exterior lights, there is a big difference in the lights that you use. One of the things about these here is that the way that they're mounted, very easy for bugs to get in, and you can already see it's filling up with bugs. So that is something I would have a non-negotiable. Like, as stupid as it seems, you got to switch out the 2 lights on this back porch for something that actually makes sense. But anyways, enough of me dogging on the little things in this house. Backyard space, not a ton. Unfortunately, all the lots are going to be a little bit different. But there is enough here for a play set and that sort of thing. And then you do have this spectacular view. So there is there's definitely a value to that. It would look so much better if they buried these power lines, like then it would be amazing. But if you want your house to actually be on the view instead of just looking at the view, the next house might be for you. It's gonna have a lot of these bells and whistles that we talked about. It's gonna be a little bit further out. But before we get there, I'm gonna have Jack tell you a little bit about why this commands so much money here.
To be frank, I've seen houses in the 700,000s that have better finish outs than the one we just took a look at, but don't get me wrong, it's actually listed for over $1 million, and I'm certain somebody is going to pay at least close to that, if not asking price. And it's because of this one reason, because they say in real estate, location, location, location. You can't exactly pick up a piece of land and take it with you, so where you put your house really matters. And you're not just buying the lot itself, you're also buying your neighbors and your community and your, well, quality of life whenever you pick where your house goes. So it's not just 4 walls and a door, but everything around it as well. And whenever you're looking at master plan communities like Walsh Ranch, the one we're in right now, you're getting well-kept green spaces, well-maintained HOA, tons of amenities, and the average house price for a family-sized house here is going to run you about $600,000, which is quite a bit less than what you're going to pay to get into Frisco. So if you're still trying to get those kinds of amenities and you don't absolutely need to be right where everything's happening, it's a great way to save maybe $250,000 on still a very nice house. And we've actually had some people go out of their way to pay a little bit more for their house because of those amenities as well. So it's a double-edged sword. We actually have a couple that moved here into this neighborhood not too long ago that was looking at similar houses in other neighborhoods like Parks of Aledo, slightly more remote, still decent amenities, but nothing like what they have here. And they were willing to pay a decent bit more for their house here just because of all the things that weren't actually a part of the house, than to save some money and maybe get something slightly bigger. And trust me, they loved some of the houses we saw there too. So it was a bit of a nail biter for them. But it can really be the make or break whenever you're picking not just where you live, but like where you're going to be putting down roots, your connections, your networking, the people that you live around. It's all very important things that a lot of people don't consider just because they're looking at a price tag. Now, don't get me wrong, that price tag is very important. So if you want to make the absolute most of that money that you're spending on your house, you want to get the most bells and whistles, the best house possible for $1 million, you got to check out what we got next.
We're about 30 to 40 minutes outside of town, and guys, out here you're gonna find these massive 2-acre plus lots with these ranch style homes. Let's go check this one out. When people think about Texas, I feel like this is a lot of times what they're thinking about. These massive lots, these huge ranch style homes, these gorgeous finishes. That's exactly what I'm about to show you. So right here off the entryway, we're gonna have our formal dining room, and you're gonna get a lot of these details that you're not gonna see in some of these other places, but just a little bit of millwork here around the base. You've got this beautiful chandelier. They've gone with a trade ceiling up top to match the flooring. And then over here, you're gonna see Jack as we walk into this office. Nothing over the top as far as size goes, but you have this nice mirrored decorative wall that reflects all the natural light coming in. So, you know, I always think you don't need a big space for your office. You just need somewhere to get the work done. I think that's more than adequate. And then here's the thing, this is what you're gonna be looking at every day as you walk into this house. You have these grand ceilings that are 14 feet tall. And guys, we gotta talk about this. This is a 12-foot sliding glass door. So absolutely beautiful. You get the views behind you, the 2 acres of land that you've got. If you're gonna do anything out there, if you're gonna have a couple of horses, you're gonna put a pool, you get to look at that every morning when you wake up and have your cup of coffee. And guys, that patio is something next level as well. It's got a little secret we're gonna show you here in just a little bit, but you get this beautiful fireplace that goes all the way up to the top. These custom wood beams, they look like they're white oak. And then we gotta talk about this kitchen. I mean, when you talk about a gorgeous kitchen, this is something that comes to mind right here. Just the thickness of this piece of granite or quartz, I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's beautiful. They've taken it all the way up the backsplash as well. You're gonna notice the level of detail on the woodworking here, and these custom cabinets are inset. I think this is a wonderful look here. This is not something you're gonna typically get with a lot of builders that are just gonna do the shaker style sitting on the outside. Obviously, they've gone with the gold accent here. And then under cabinet lighting, you've also got around all of your toe kicks in here. So it just really gives an elegant feel to this kitchen. Now, one of the things, the only thing I will say I disagree with in this house, I wish they would have done different, is the outlets here. I think when you have such a beautiful countertop and you bring it up your backsplash, you can always put your outlets up top. I wish they had done that because this is so beautiful. I feel like you don't want to obscure it with the outlets, but that's my preference. But not only that, you've got your farmhouse. You got to have a farmhouse if you're out here in the country, right? Farmhouse sink that overlooks your backyard. I love this so much. Like, so many times we go out in the country and we see these beautiful homes, and then the sink is just looking at a wall instead of the beautiful view that you have behind you. So I think they did a fantastic job there. Also, this is really interesting. So they have white oak, right? And they did this around a window frame. I've never seen that done before. Very cool by this builder. You also have a space in here for a wine rack, which hasn't been installed yet. Of course, your refrigerator would go over this way. You've got a microwave mounted down here. So lots of really good stuff going on. Now, I'm gonna take you this way, and we're gonna look at those secondaries before we get to the master, because that thing is gonna blow you away. Can't wait to show you that. Especially, it's got this weird way of being kind of manly and feminine at the same time. So like, I feel like it kind of gives that hunting vibe, but there's nothing dark, or you're just gonna have to see it. Anyways, here is your 3/4 bath. This is gonna be for guests. There's actually a door to the patio here. So if you do put in a pool, you can get in and out of the house without dripping across everything. And then over here, we've got some storage here in this closet. This is gonna be your first bedroom. And one of the nice things is so many windows in these bedrooms, so you have a ton of natural light. You get decent sized closets, nothing over the top. They do have quite a bit of shelving in here. Nothing crazy. Now, if you are looking at moving out here, you can always build if you'd like to and customize any of this kind of stuff, or you can buy something on the ground like this house. This house is available at the time that we're filming this. We'll see how long it sticks around. But here we're gonna have kind of a Jack and Jill setup. So this actually comes off of the hallway. You got a pocket sliding door here, and this is gonna house your toilet. You got a bunch of linen cabinets right here, and then of course your tub and shower area. And then this is gonna come through to another sink, and this attaches to another bedroom. Kind of a good utilization of space here. So this, whoever would have this would have access to their own bathroom. Over this way, you're gonna have just a room on its own, so they would have to utilize the other side of this bathroom. But now we're gonna take you across the other way, show you the master suite. This thing's incredible. All right, so as we come into the master here, you're probably looking at this closet and saying, Tom, I don't know if that thing's gonna be big enough for my wife and I. Well, don't worry, that's just one of the closets. That's just for the guys out there. So women, don't be disappointed yet. And then the master bedroom, I love this about the builder. Anytime they do a trade ceiling, it seems like they're always doing something different. Here you've got this really cool detail, and you've actually got your fan matches, the woodwork here. You've got this nice window that goes across what would be the above your headboard there. And then this opens up into the bathroom. And this is kind of what I was talking about. I don't know if it's a chandelier that kind of reminds me of like antlers, and then you've got the stone on the back of your shower, but it's a real light and airy feel in here, which is great because one of the things I noticed after being in here for a minute was there's no windows, and it seems so light and so just refreshing that I would have thought there were a couple windows in this bathroom, but they've done a great job. Now, you have a ton of space over here. So this is probably her countertop. You've got a sitting bench here, which I love. So if you're, putting your slippers on once you get out of the shower, and then they've done a ton of mirrors in here. So I think that's one of the things that makes this feel so big and airy. But interesting positioning here, because from there, you can watch yourself shower if you're into that sort of thing, and exit out this way to look at yourself in another mirror. So this goes into the next closet here. This is probably gonna be her closet, so she's figuring out what to wear and change it 3 or 4 times. She's got a mirror to do it in front of. And also this connects to your laundry room. I love this. So many people want this, like, hey, I want it to be close. Why should I, get all those extra steps in every day? No reason for that. And one thing I will mention, we'll take you outside real quick. So through that way, I'll show you in a minute. It's gonna be our garage. And this is gonna be a 2-car garage over there. And then over here, you've got this portage with a single entry garage. Now, if you got multiple cars, fantastic. If you have 4 cars, you could park a car under here as well. Whoever's leaving first in the morning, Or if you got a boat, you can put a boat in there. We're not that far from the lake. Or maybe if you just want a separate space to play your guitar or a workout room. I love the fact that there's this detached area of the house. So it's definitely a cool little feature here. And then coming through this way, got a really cool mud bench. I've never seen this done before. So they did this herringbone look, but it's like they beveled the edges of the wood. Just gives it a lot of dimension there. But this is gonna go to your 2-car garage. But guys, the real showstopper here. By the way, there's a pantry. If anybody was wondering, is there a pantry in this house? Yes, it's right there. Now guys, this is how you make an entrance onto your back patio. 12-foot sliding glass doors. Absolutely beautiful. And this is a giant back patio. And it's actually really not too bad out here on a 100-degree day. So you've got your fireplace over here in the winter. You've got an outlet up top. So if you want to hang that TV, have the boys over for the game, whatever have you, definitely you got plenty of space there for some chairs and a coffee table. Over here is where you're going to be grilling it up. And so they've got a spot here to put a cooktop in. They've got all kinds of stuff as well. So basically anything you want to do, you could do here. They've got a spot here for a mini fridge. They've got outlets along here as well. So this is one of those things I really like that the builder thought about doing this, because guys, if it's a hot day, you're probably wanting to blend up some margaritas, right? So you can actually hook up a blender back here and not have, so many times I see these outside spaces and there's nowhere to plug anything in. Now the other thing about Texas is it's really hot. Now this is the really cool feature about this back patio. You're probably not gonna get this in any of the other properties we looked at today or those areas unless you're shelling out a lot of money, but got a little remote here. If it gets too hot, if it gets too bright out, you can actually just put down some shades, which, as crazy as this sounds, we put these down when we first got here and I had to turn the lights on. It actually shades the area so well. The temperature usually drops about 10 degrees on your back patio. So a lot of times people think, hey, I'm moving to Texas. It's so hot there. I don't know if I want to do it. I like being outside. Well, this is a great way to do it, where you can actually utilize your backyard space. So with these things, this is absolutely amazing. It looks great. They're super functional. They're also going to help keep your bugs out, right? So that's one thing that we have here in Texas. If you live close to any kind of water, is a lot of times you're going to get mosquitoes in the evening. And so this is a great way to enjoy your back patio without having to worry about those kind of bugs. Now, if you want this house, it is on the market for right around $1 million. If you want to build something like that, obviously give us a call, or if you want us to help you find it. Now, if you are looking for land, you can actually get a nice family-sized home on land here in Texas for around $500,000 and up. So just depending on the size, the finish out, the amount of land, there's a lot in the 500s and 600s. And then obviously, once you go up from there, you get into the luxury market. So a lot to offer. We'd love to help you with it. Now, like we mentioned earlier, if you're interested in Frisco Fields, you can find that video on our YouTube page. But for the rest of you who are interested in some of these nice suburb communities, you can check out those right here. And if you're interested in the rural living on some land, you can check that out here. And as always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm. Call Tom.